Welcome, everyone. Porters one and Porters all, and everyone else as well. How are you all? Let's just check we're going live. Should be okay. So I'm going live. I am. Yes, I appear on the. I appear on there. That's good. I've got 10 views already. Hello, everyone. All right, and so big hello to everyone, including Nothing As It Seems and Welsh Ripper. Hugo Roon, who's actually got here for the start. That's really, really great. Israel Diego Rivera Genius 2, the real genius. Does it involve aliens? Believe it or not, it doesn't, just for a change, doesn't it? But how are you anyway? Nothing that seems is in his car. If you're safest, all right, you are. I don't blame you. All right. Hugo has made it for the first time originally. That's really, really great. Who else is here? We have here. See how we are living. Hello, see how you doing? Hi, Ben. Happy Yule. Thought this movie was excellent and watched Blackout after you recommended it. I liked Veach once, but now I think he's a real twat. Well, so do I. See how we living. I don't think it's to do with his appearance in Blackout. It's to do with his subsequent behaviour. But there you go. Anyway, Seth Aaron Fletcher. Hello. How do you do? Della Farrant. How do you do? It freaks you out. Yeah, I mean, it is a bit, isn't it? It is. It is. Well, we'll talk about that, Adela, because it freaked me out a bit. I'll tell you. Rhiannon, hello, how are you? Good to see you. Evening to you too. Yeah, hello. How do you do? And welcome. Happy Christmas to you too. Nothing it seems. Della says, "I'm glad it doesn't involve aliens, as they freak me out as much as Ben's voice coming out of the speakers out of nowhere." Oh my god! All right. Now this is interesting. Welsh Ripper, Nicola Bully, Gaynor Lord, Claire Marshall. Is there a serial killer on the loose? Oh my god. Do you think it's the work of all the same person? I don't know. Hello, Bernie Tucker. How do you do? Hello, DJ B2. Welcome, all of you. Right. Now I hope you've all seen it. I mean, Della has. It is available on Netflix, which you can get quite. I mean, I've got it as actually. Well, I wouldn't. Honestly, if it wasn't a part of my landlord's package, I wouldn't pay for it. I'll tell you. Not after Cuties, but seeing as it's there, I might as well watch it. And also, it is available on a few other places if you know where to look. I'll say no more than that. But anyway, put a Y in chat or a yes if you've seen it, because if none of you've seen it, I know Della has, but if not too many of you've seen it, this is going to be a rather short video. So Scrooge says Nothing As It Seems. Bah, humbug, says Hugo Roon. So let me know if you've seen it. Let me know. It is. I mean, everyone else is talking about it, so I thought we should. Yes, good for you. See how we're living. Nice one. Welsh Ripper, nice one. Hello, Lurvish. How do you do? Welcome. Pirate flag. Yes. Great guys. That's brilliant. Yeah, it seems like everywhere you go, everyone's talking about this film. And I don't know how many of you seen the review. DJ, I'll watch it over this weekend probably. Right, you are, DJ. And there may be a few spoilers for you. Sorry about that, but yes. David Schultz, yes, brilliant. Hello, David. How you doing? Because I mean, I was thinking about just doing the live stream and not the review, but I thought I'll do the review separately. Then I can interact with you without doing any lead off. Dara Fowler, no. It was the sound of this vid coming on which freaked me out, not the film. Oh, I see. Sorry, I thought you'd seen the film, Dalla. All right, okay. Well, there may be a few spoilers for you. And DJ doesn't mind spoilers. That's good. Okay. But hopefully you can still enjoy it despite that. So someone, I don't know, someone might have already made a comment about this film. I've got a lot to say about it, obviously. Let me just get I've already done the review. I'm not going to repeat the points I made in the review. But someone's already mentioned Blackout with old Vici, which was rather, as I said, that was different. I thought. I'm just going to go through here. But it's what I think is interesting about it is it does seem to be. I mean, one of the criticisms I had of it before, that is the sort of nebulous nature of it. Maybe it's understandable because it's a film. It's rather like Threads, which of course did Threads, which of course had an equally narrow scope. It was because it's about a family just caught up in the middle of all this. And I suppose the idea the filmmaker wanted to portray the situation the way they would see it, the way they would perceive it. Okay, I don't have to do notice comments because no one put any comments in the notice. What I might do is I might go through the comments on the review. I mean, I'll go through them again on the next reply to comments video, but I will I'll go through those instead. Right. There's very little thing. I mean, the behavior of the animals, I didn't say enough about that. There's not a lot. You're not given many clues because there is in the scene where Clay is driving to the town to try and find a newspaper. That's where he meets that lady, the Hispanic lady. He basically picks up. There's a brief snatch of radio that he picks up where it says that there's been a environmental disaster in the South caused by, presumably that's the deep South of the United States, caused by the cyber attack. Now, I'm not really sure exactly how a cyber attack could cause an environmental disaster. But you suddenly see flamingos flying more further north than they used to be. The deer's behaving strangely. I mean, that was actually pretty spooky. I thought the way the deer were acting. And according to the Esmail himself, what he said was he wanted for it to be like that. He wanted to make it look like that. He just wanted to create an atmosphere of sinister and creepiness, which is making the deer behave like that was a part of that. Right. So Sam Esmail did do Mr. Robot, right? Yeah. Nothing says I only came for the mince pie. Oh, I don't have any, I'm afraid. Well, I'm going to get some before Christmas because I will have some over Christmas. Prancing reindeer. Oh, yeah, that's a Santa Claus reference, I think. But he did Mr. I've never seen this thing. I've never seen Mr. Robot. Let's have a look. This is Sam Esmail. Oh, God, he's a white male. Ugh, disgusting. Ugh. Mr. Robot, a TV series. Let's have a look. An American drama thriller series created by Sam Esmail for USA Network. All right. I've never seen this, Mr. Robot. It ran for 4 seasons. Large number of episodes. See How We're Living said, I thought those owners were serial killers. Plenty of racist tests in this. Oh, no, there's no way. There's no way. The moment I saw GH, I didn't think he was a bad guy. You cannot have someone of his demography playing an antagonist in modern cinema. It just doesn't happen. But the racist test, that's interesting about the racist thing, because I've been looking at a few articles, like I mentioned, the Mary Sue, which does reviews, and it said that there were some comments underneath by some critics saying, well, that Clay was not an overt racist like Amanda was. Well, I don't really see that. Don't think Amanda gave any impressions that she was a racist. Of course, you don't have to give any impression that you're racist to be called a racist. It's the wokies these days are just looking for anything they can pin on you to call you a racist. I mean, you sound if you're driving along and you sound your horn at a non-white driver, you're a racist. There's so many. It's impossible to avoid. You know, if you hold the door open and there's a non-white person coming through and you're a white person and you don't hold it for quite long enough, you're a racist. The thing about Amanda was a pretty unpleasant person, actually. As I said, I think Julia Roberts has matured like a fine wine. You know, she is an attractive lady to look at, but her character was utterly obnoxious. I couldn't stand her. In fact, I said I didn't really like any of the characters, perhaps except perhaps GH I quite liked, and Danny. I thought he was quite cool. He was quite a character. A bit like Charles with hair, you know. See How We Live In says that Ruth was racist. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, she was extremely anti-white. I mean, And like a lot of people, like a lot of anti-white people, she projected it. She just simple. It's obvious. It's a psychological feature. You project. You accuse other people of thinking and feeling the way you do. So the moment they walked in, and the moment that Amanda started questioning GH, who are you? I can't prove you can't prove who you are, anything like this. Which is, to be honest, is perfectly reasonable. I would probably behave as Amanda did, especially in that situation. But I mean, I wouldn't care. It wouldn't make any difference to me whether the person was whatever color the person was. If a stranger turned up, I'd be very concerned. I mean, yeah. I mean, he gave a lot of. There's a lot of signs immediately to reassure you that he is. Although he is non-white, he's obviously very urbane. He's intelligent, polite, very friendly, wearing a nice suit. He's into classical music. It's he gives off this to me. I would think he would give. I would get good vibes off him if he turned up on my doorstep. After the collapse of civilization. But I would still behave as Amanda did, especially when my kids were in the house, whatever color that person happened to be. And the fact that Ruth's behavior, actually, if Ruth had been behaving like he did, I'd have been more reassured. And it's possible, Amanda, if Ruth hadn't been like going along, oh, you see, that's suspicious, I wonder why, and all that sort of thing, all that very sarcastic, belligerent, anti-white attitude she had, I would have probably, I mean, you can see that GH is basically telling her to shut up, like not well knowing what keys will what. Yeah, I mean that's another thing. You are left sort of up in the dark in a little while because he tries all the keys in the lock to get the booze out, and of course there's a gun in there. Thing is, he takes the pistol from the drawer, but he doesn't use it on anyone except he threatens to use it on Danny. He could just shoot them. Why doesn't if he had the gun with him? If he was a bad guy, obviously the first thing he'd do is just shoot them. Because of course Clay and Amanda don't have a gun, do they? Oh God. Well, I don't understand. I mean, there's a lot about Americans I don't understand, a lot, but I really don't understand Americans who don't have guns. I mean, you're allowed to have one. You are allowed to have if I was caught by the police carrying a gun around town, I'd probably go to jail. I really would. Britain is one of the most gun prohibitive countries on earth. Well, our firearms laws are some of the strictest in the entire world. It doesn't stop mass shootings in this country, interestingly. But yeah. Oh, see, Olive says not in New York. You're not allowed to carry. Oh, really? Let's have a look at the gun laws of New York. Let's have a look. I think can't you even conceal carry. New York gun laws. Right. The legislation includes provisions that protect and preserve law-abiding citizens' right to bear arms and does not restrict New Yorkers' abilities to buy, sell, and keep guns. Right. Firearms, New York State Police. Let's have a look. I don't need to show you this. This just gives you pistol, revolver, semi-automatic rifle license application. It's got several different license applications here. So it does seem like they do preserve the First Amendment in no carry, so see how we live in. All right. There is the First Amendment. The Second Amendment. The First Amendment is free speech, which is also under attack by the Biden administration. But of course, no carry, right? So you're allowed to have one in your home or have one in your glove compartment in the car or something like that. I don't know what the rules. Either way, I mean, I don't understand. I mean, unless you happen to live in a state where there are very prohibitive laws, firearms laws are very prohibitive. I don't understand Americans who don't have guns. I don't. I'd love to be able to own a gun and to have one. I mean, you can actually protect yourself and protect your loved ones with a gun, especially because like the criminals all have guns, don't they? I mean, even in Britain with our prohibitive gun laws, nobody robs banks with penknives, do they? Ugh. Anyway, guys, so I don't understand that, but anyway, GH he obviously pulls the gun out of the drawer. You don't see him do it, but you see the pistol lying in the drawer. And then later you realise he has it with him because he wields it. He levels it at Danny when Danny's got a pump action shotgun pointing at them. DJ B2. President Poopy Pants is acting more like the third-rate German Charlie Chaplin impersonator. Oh goodness me! I mean, they how do people take him seriously? I mean, I won't go into the whole Trump thing because there's now a serious threat to Trump's. It's just broken out today. Actually, there's a serious threat to Trump's campaign, even worse than his arrest. But we'll go into that another time, maybe. But nothing it seems to. I learned through working in the fire department that guns are fucking dangerous. Of course they are. That's the point. They are dangerous. Well, they're dangerous to people who don't have them. Most of us, very much so. If other people do, yeah. Trevor, if you're listening, please join chat because Trevor is a Canadian guy who's a big gun aficionado. The Anon says, as it as it's the people holding them that are dangerous. Well, it depends what you use them for, Rhiannon. I mean, and unfortunately, prohibition. All the prohibition is doing in the United States is it's taking guns away from peace. It's taking guns away from peaceful people, and that of course is leaving the state and the criminals with a monopoly of force. Because of course the police aren't giving up their guns, do they? See, we're living. Oh, it's mentioned good old Tim Burchett. You go shopping with an AR-15 slung over your shoulder. Yeah, you can have it. There's open carry laws. Yeah, right. I mentioned this in the review. What about Obama in the film? Was Obama in it? I know his company, he and Michelle's company, their production company was behind the movie. It's called right. It's Higher Ground. It's called Higher Ground Productions. It's an American production company founded in 2018 by former United States President Barack Obama and former First Lady, or first big butch bloke, meet Michael Obama. Yes, and it's actually signed a multi-year deal with Netflix to produce unscripted and scripted film and television projects. With the goal of the company is to lift up diverse voices in the entertainment industry. Yeah. All right. All right. So it's certainly. I think is it achieving that. Yeah. But that's its goal anyway. But was he in it? Was he actually in it? Oh, because Hugo Room, of course, is ex-army weapon trained. Yes, that's right. I mean, I've like had I remember using a gun on a firing range once. I've never shot anyone, but I fired a gun on a firing range once. But yeah, I mean, but was Obama in it? I don't know if he was in it. Was he? Is he in it? Let's have a look at the cast. No, I don't want to donate to Wikipedia. Let's have a look at it on IMDb. Because I mean, he may have got a cameo. He may have been in there as a cameo. Stars, yeah. Julie Roberts, Mahershala Ali, the guy I thought was Wesley Snipes. Let's have a look. Oh, Sam Esmail, the director is in it. He's in it. He just says Captain Esmail in uncredited. Who's that? Was he the pilot? Because you remember the dead pilot? Is that what he was? Captain, because it says Captain. Because like there's a horrible scene on the beach where GH he just thinks it's just a wristwatch lying in the sand, and he picks it up and it's like it's connected to a dead body, and he falls over and he finds himself face to face with a dead pilot. Was that Esmail? It's a pretty horrible scene. But did you spot the passenger in the seat? That's one of the Easter eggs. Don't know how many you spotted that. Let's. I think if when I look at the right, chat box has gone quiet. Am I still streaming? Yeah, I am. No worries. Yeah, but there was a number of things that people spotted. I mentioned this, of course, in the review. The people like there's loads of little symbols. Like there's the 96 tattoo on Ruth's shoulder. What does that mean? She's got the number. She's just got the number 96 tattooed on her shoulder, and I don't know why. There's loads. So many people are talking about this. Right? If you Google like anything from the film, like the book, like the book that Amanda's reading, which I googled, the first thing that comes up is something to do with this film. Mm. Yeah, I mean, how's everyone going? Nothing, it seems, says. We arrived as first responders with minutes of a shot victim. The perpetrator was her older brother, both less than 11 years old. Oh my God, that's horrible. Mate. That's horrible. I'm not. I don't. I'm not. I don't think necessarily prohibition would stop this sort of thing. I mean, this sort of thing happens in Britain, but it's horrible when that happens. I mean, I was a hospital porter, I had to deal with these things in the hospital themselves. Well, the paramedics dealt with it outside. Anyway, yeah, they were like, it sort of starts off a little bit boring. I mean, I don't know if you reckon it starts off a little bit boring. Because I was saying to people on Facebook, who we sort of had a little watch party, informal watch party on Facebook, and I said, it's just what's this? Some domestic bliss drama. I'm 20 minutes in, and they're just sitting on the beach, and they're just having it's just a family going off on a seaside holiday, and then the ship runs aground. Now that was quite the thing about the ship running aground. It's a kind of pattern I observed through the film, which was Rose is by far. I wouldn't say she's the most intelligent person in the house. She's only like 13. Hello, 69 Phuket movie review. Yes, it is. She's only about 13, but she's certainly the most perceptive person and probably the most sensible person. She says that ship's coming towards us, and Clay, of course, he does this thing which really bugs me, which my dad does. He says, "No, everything's fine. Everything's absolutely fine." I'm like, well, how do you know? Oh, it's everything's absolutely fine. Mindless optimism, denial. And even when the ship is literally about to run aground, he says, "Don't worry, it'll turn around in a minute and go to a harbour." Next thing you know, it's like ploughing into the beach. Yeah, no whistle on the ship. Yeah, why did the ship? You see, this is what is weird, Welsh Ripper. Okay, did the ship sound its whistle? I can't remember. I think I did hear the ship's whistle. But what's weird is why they said, well, the policeman said, oh, ships are running aground all up the coast because the navigation systems go wrong. Whoops! Is my nice webcam breaking down? I hope not. Anyway, welcome 69 Phuket. Because I can't do the ship sound its whistle. Either way, I mean, why was there no human override on the ship? I mean, that was what was unrealistic. Unless this is some kind of near future setting. It's not actually stated exactly when the setting is. It could be like 2028 or something like that, because there are plans for completely autonomous vehicles, cars, ships, aircraft. There are people who are projecting a future where these things will be completely autonomous. Because you notice that the captain of the ship didn't like switch off the autopilot and take the wheel himself. Neither did the pilots of the plane. What about the cars, the autonomous cars? I mean, was there no way to override them, and they just went crazy and started driving along? DJ B2 says it's probably set in 2024, so the elections are cancelled. Oh my God! Don't give them ideas, mate. Don't give them ideas. Yeah. But I mean, who knows? Who knows what they will do to this? It's obviously there'd be some kind of political situation which would be the instigator of this coup d'état. I mean, this often happens usually you get some kind of rumblings beforehand that something like this is going to happen in all countries where this sort of thing does happen, which has not happened in the United States yet, but it's happened in many other nations. There's usually a reason for it. There's a cause. There was some kind of faction of the political classes that decides to take radical action against the established government, usually with some of the military on their side. So who spotted the? Let's have a look. Who spotted it? Leave the world behind. Plane passenger. Plane passenger. Here we go. Right. Oh, I'm not getting it. Where is it? Each scene. Here we go. I'm just trying to find an image of this. Here, look. Right, this is it. Man finds creepy Easter egg. Creepy mode for Leave the World Behind. The one you need to zoom in to see. Well, actually, when I saw it, I didn't need to. Here you go. Right, this is the Lad Bible. Oh, get out of the way. You see, if you watch it, I actually watched it. I didn't need to zoom in. You can see it quite clearly if you know what you're looking for. There is someone sitting in the seat there. Someone who appears to be uninjured, but you see GH running up the beach, and you do see it in more than one shot actually. Hmm. It says here somebody's has watched it 10 times, and he and his wife have dissected all the tiny details of the film, pausing it frame by frame to pick up all the sneaky hidden messages. There's a link. What's this? The ridiculously specific. Oh, Barbie. I don't want to see Barbie. So I'm not going to show you Barbie. Nah, sod that. Welsh Ripper. Fly with no pilot. Not me. I want to fly with a pilot. Yeah, I mean it's going to be a hard sell for the passengers, isn't it? Hmm. DJ B2, come on, says, you're correct about the rumbling before coup d'etat. A friend in Cairo told B about both coups a week or two in advance. Yeah, usually there's some kind of political crisis that leads up to it. The Phuket says the Russians are blaming Western reptilians for degradation of their crap society. That's probably true. Klaus Schwab is a lizard person, DJ B2. Well, lizards eat bugs, don't they? And he seems to want everyone to eat the bugs. Oh, me. Right. Sorry. You said told you about both coups in a week or two in advance. Yeah, there's usually. I mean, to be honest, I mean there is a risk of such a thing in the United States because, and a lot of people said, could there be another civil war? And very often, these things often do occur after the normal constitutional electoral process breaks down. So the normal political arena is, in a sense, perverted to the point where it's no longer of any use. That's when you get acts of desperation, usually by factions of the armed forces, sometimes with a political figure behind them, and they will then take over by force. That could happen. I mean, it could be in the United States, of course, where there are nuclear weapons. It could be devastating. So yeah, it could have seen like Jericho. Jericho is another interesting drama series about. It's set in the United States. It's about Let's have a look because Steve Bassett mentioned it. About a remote town TV show, Jericho. Yeah, I've not actually watched this, but it centers on the residents of a fictional city of Jericho, Kansas, in the aftermath of a nuclear attack on 23 major cities in the United States. The thing about it is, it's actually you see, at first they think it's a. I mean, Steve Bassett gave the spoilers. At first, they think, well, obviously the country's been attacked. China or Russia have launched a nuclear attack, and they've just killed everyone. Presumably, America's fired back and killed and destroyed the cities in those countries. But it turns out later it's actually an internal. This is actually an internal coup. It's actually a civil war, and the bombs were released by a faction of the U.S. military. Yeah, it says. It sounds. It sounds like it. I mean, there are a sign. I think there is a sign possibly that people, because very often fiction does reveal an awful lot about what's going on in the background, what's going on in the background in real life. as I said in the review, whenever there's a very, very, we go through a very turbulent period of history, you get a lot of dystopian fiction. The Road, the book and the film, are both made following the 2008 stock market crash. So we can expect a lot of dystopian fiction to come out of the early couple of years of this decade because, of course, of the pandemic. But a DJB2 thinks it's worth a watch. Come on, a tin full of spliffs here. Am I in danger, Hugo? If you were in danger by a tin full of spliffs, Hugo, you'd have died years ago. Phuket says, Inside Russia channel did a vid on reptilians. All right. I'd be interested to hear that. I'd be interested to see that. I really, really would. I'm leaving the world behind, said Hugo Rune. It's a well, when you have a few things, you do tend to get a bit detached from the world, don't you? I know what it's like. But yeah, it's maybe there's a sense. Maybe fictional writers are coming out with things like this because of things they see in the real world. Like, I was watching that Manifest. If you've never seen Manifest, that's actually pretty good. It's very obviously inspired by MH370. But what if that plane suddenly reappeared? That's what it's saying. What if it reappeared? That's the kind of that is the inspiration behind it. But it does sound to me similar to Leave the World Behind. But you never find out what's going on. I mean, this will frustrate a lot of viewers, and it did me in a way, which was, well, what happens at the end. I mean, it doesn't feel like the end. There's nothing is really revealed, and it ends simply with Rose discovers the bunker. You do. I think you're given the impression that the rest of the family discover it too, because just before you see Rose going into the bunker, you see Amanda and Ruth say, "Oh, look at that house. That's where Rose has gone," because they've been following her bike tracks. So presumably they then go there and meet up with her. Hello, Cosmic Claire. How you doing? I've no idea what this is about. It's about the film Leave the World Behind. If you've not seen it, so I mean, this is one of those things. Like I said in the review, this is one of those these very truncated little videos that I used to watch in English class at school. They used to show us these little videos with there'd be like a guy. It'd be like a drama, and something would happen, and then the one I remember very well is he's riding his bike past a house, and someone holds a handwritten sign in the window saying "help," and then it ends. And the pupils then go, "Well, what happens next? What happens next?" And the teacher says, "You got to write a story about what happens next." You see, it's this film reminded me of that. It reminded me very much of that. It reminded me just exactly of that. And so, of course, I started thinking, well, what does happen next? Presumably, I mean, the family, I mean, we know because it's not actually shown, but we know Amanda and Ruth have tracked Rose down to that house. So presumably they join her in the bunker. Then they go back and get GH, he's on his own in the house. They go. It's only a short distance, maybe half a mile. They probably go back and get him. And they all end up in the bunker, and presumably that's the closest to a happy ending you can get. Then what happens after that? Does the war die down? Does a new regime take over? Does it spread to other countries? Is this the entire world, or is it just this one nation? And in the other countries, there's a lot of news stories about the coup in the United States, things like that. Spanner-worthy, says nothing. Is that a critics thing? I don't know. Anyway, anyone got any more comments or questions? Don't worry if you don't. Well, that's too bad, But this is kind of like the discussion part of the whole process. Right, Leave the World Behind 2, Cannibal Apocalypse. Oh God, helps as you go. Yeah, did you see that? Also, Phuket says help. Literally, someone just holds a piece of paper up in a window and just says help. I don't know if you can find it, if it's on YouTube. I don't know if anyone can find it. Let's have a look. English class video. Let's have a look. No, no, it's just about learning and things like that, about teaching English as a foreign language, etc. No, this is like it's, I'll put school. I'll add school. Be interesting if you could find some of these things. School 80. I'll put 1980s. High school 80s footage. Nah, I don't think we've got it. It's just something that was shown to kids. It was something that was like shown to little kids in the school, and it was. I remember it very well. I remember that one very well. But Cannibal Apocalypse, yeah, you see, I'd be interested. Obviously, it would lead to some kind of dystopian situation. Obviously, the heroes of the story are safe in their bunker, but most people will not be. Like that, like the title of that very chilling title of the Vice documentary, "While the Rest of Us Die." I can't find that anywhere except on the Vice channel. You got to pay for it. Phuket, bloody Christmas is doing my head in. Rah, humbug. Hello, Stuart. How you doing? Hmm. Hugo. I wish this could go on. Well, a few more spliffs and it will. I understand the shops are filled with zombies. Yeah, well, you know that Dawn of the Dead, especially, was very much a social. What's the word? It was a social commentary, a social satire of consumerism. The film about the skewers was traumatic. I never saw that. Never saw that. I remember words. Do you remember words and pictures? Hello, weird watchers. I'm fine, thanks, Stuart. I hope you're all right. But no, this was like something different. It wasn't word watchers. Mm. But yeah, this was a bit like that. I think it's almost like you're meant to. The filmmakers want you just to think about what happens next. They've left it open ended deliberately. I mean, I was really surprised when it ended, and it was just like it ended the way it did, and I thought, well, when's the sequel? There's no sequel. There's no part two. It's not a serial. That's the end of it. Hmm. Welsh Ripper said, "If the shit hits the fan, I'm prepaid to run Wales. Just putting my name forward." Well, you do a much better job than Drakeford. Hmm. Oh, hello, Neil. How you doing? The film's good, but was ruined by the a weak ending. Yeah, I suppose the ending was a bit unsatisfactory. I mean, I understand why that ending. I suppose that they understand why they made the ending the way it did. I think there's a logic behind it, but to me, that was not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted from the film. I wanted something more decisive. I mean, really, if they only had just had a couple more scenes of just a couple more scenes of the rest of the main characters joining. Presumably, they'd have to go. They'd have had to go back and get GH and the two kids, Archie, well, the other kid, Archie. Ruth was with Amanda, and just bring them into the bunker, and then they could have made a. They could have made a. They could have made a more satisfying, more well put together ending without changing the plot considerably. They could have done. 69 Phuket words and pictures featured in Threads. Yeah, Threads is bloody depressing. It really is. And funnily enough, it came out the same time as The Day After, which it's an American film, which is slightly less visceral. Yeah, but funnily enough, these things came out not only a couple of years before the end of the Cold War, and they started showing them to kids in schools. I'm watching in schools and absolutely shitting my pants over it and being absolutely depressed for ages. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to get depressed very easily. I was a very delicate child. I don't think they should show things like that to children. Mm, I don't think they should. But so yeah, that part was disappointing, and there were other things I didn't like about it. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be in terms of the anti-white sentiments. I mean, everyone online, everyone is moaning about the new Doctor Who, saying how horrible it is. It wasn't like that. It wasn't overt like that. I mean, Ruth was really the Ruth. It all centered around the character of Ruth, the cultural Marxism. It all centered around her. She was this horribly, you know, woke scold, bitter, paranoid, chip on her shoulder, little cow she'd clearly had her head filled with all this feminist, anti-white crap in university or something. Yeah. I mean, it's. I understand why they didn't give a lot of information. They were telling the story from the perspective of the people who were caught up in the middle of it, and with a communication breakdown, they don't know what's going on. They don't realize what's going on. Mm. So, yeah, this is the only thing on TV. This national alert thing. You see, it's like there's GH and Ruth sitting there looking frightened, watching it, and of course the mobile phone stuff not getting through. Then these things start dropping, and there's that's it. Yeah, Hugo in English is Germanic. It is from that family. Yeah, it is. Yeah, but I think we're going to see more films like this. We're going to see more books like this. I mean, it is based on a book which I've never read. But what would you have done in that situation? How would you have coped if you were any of those particular characters? It's worth. I mean, it does try. One thing the filmmaker does quite well, I think, is Esmail. He quite skillfully puts people in that position in a way that's maybe Stanley Kubrick did in some of the others. It's kind of like it's very much an interactive experience. Is yes, it's free on a couple of places. Canopy Reach. It's free. It has been posted. Rather poor quality copies have been posted in various places. Yeah, yeah. But I just what would you have done if you were in the position of any of those characters? I mean, for example, if I was in the position of Clay, well, the first thing I'd do is I would I'd tie Amanda up with rope, leave her on a street corner, and hope the zombies would get her. That's the first thing I would do if I was Clay. I mean, I can't imagine. Oh, Stuart. Oh, I'll take her to Leamington Spa. Yeah, Stuart. I'd find a way to get her to Leamington Spa and see if the zombies would eat her. I mean, can you imagine what it is like to be married to someone like that? Someone who organises things behind your back. I mean, it's just like, oh, by the way, I've booked us a holiday. She didn't ask. She didn't ask him. She just told him, and of course he's sort of like half asleep, and she says, "Oh yeah, that'll be a good idea." And that is typical of a diminutive partner in a relationship, right? And this is what my dad does or did. I mean, well, he still does it a bit with his new girlfriend, um, but he did it all the time with my mum. My mum would come up with something. She would take the lead. She would boss him around. She'd push him around. She'd say that, and he'd say, "Yeah, well, I've thought about it for a while. I think your mother's right. I consider, yeah." He'd say, "Yeah, I think your mother's right. I haven't thought about that." And of course, I knew damn well he hadn't thought about it at all. And I think Clay was like that. And she like gives him the cigarettes because she's rash, because like she buys him cigarettes because like he's a secret smoker. And he's smoking in the car when he's not with her and stuff like that. But she knows he's doing it, and you see what's really nasty about the way she treats him is that the buying of the cigarettes and the way she just chucks them on the table in front of him with a sickly smile. That is. It appears to be an act of kindness. Well, I know you smoke, so here you have some. You think it's an act of kindness, but it's just an exercise of the power she has over him, because she's just saying, "Well, yeah, see, I know you smoke, I know you do it, and here, I bought you some." It's just next thing it's like saying, "You can't hide anything from me, Clay." So the first thing I'd do is I'd tie her up, and I'd tie Amanda up, and I'd leave her out for the zombies. Definitely, that's the first thing I would do. If I were GH, well, I think I'd probably do what he did. I mean, well, no, I'd give Ruth a backhander probably before we went in. Now that's going too far. But I would say to her, just shut up and stop being such an anti-white bitch. That's what I'd say to her. Don't insult these people. All right, we need to get on with them. We have to survive. We have to get along. Our prejudices are the prejudices we have, and the prejudices you've enjoyed all your life. Strutting around, strutting around, looking down your nose at white people and saying what a victim you are and stuff like that. Right? Those are luxuries of civilization. I've often said this. In a situation, in like a Charles-like situation, a dog eat dog world and stuff like that. Right? Feminism would last about. Estimate feminism would disappear within 3.5 minutes. All these Ruth-like characters within 3.5 minutes they would be turning to the first man they could find, and they would be begging him to protect them. That's what would happen. They really would. And the men they favour the most would be the ones who were caring and protective. The ones they currently can't stand. I know why a lot of sort of like beta cucks are very into survivalism, because they know that would happen if ever society collapsed. I mean, Stefan Molyneux talks about this. If ever like civilization collapsed, the kind of like the people who've like built their status on in the form of civilization of both sexes, of all races, they would everything would suddenly be turned on its head in terms of status and position. Oh yeah. So, any other thoughts or feelings? Anything else you want to share about this film, guys? I think I covered it all in the review. I mean, I won't sort of like just ramble on in this live stream. If you guys don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But let me know, because if you don't, that's cool. We'll call it a night. But it was an interesting. It was a film like it was like Silent Night. It was very interesting. A film I didn't. It's not sort of like easy viewing. It's not enjoyable viewing. I might watch it once more just to see if I can spot any more Easter eggs, but we'll see. Because a lot of films have Easter eggs. Easter eggs, of course, being something that you hide and everyone has to find. This film is no. This film seems to have developed a reputation for having a lot of hidden messages and things hidden for you to spot and find out. Because that seems to be the main activity right now. There's entire subreddits that have been set up simply for finding them, just for finding all the hidden messages. Definitely, yeah. Let's see if I see anything else interesting to talk about this, because I don't want to repeat myself and go over it again. Some people are asking about the house. The house is real. I don't know if the indoor scenes were filmed there, but I know that the house was real because, yeah, because people have been asking, can I go and stay there? House location. Yeah. Where was the Leave the World Behind house film? There we go. Yeah, it's oops. Set in a remote Long Island house in the fictional hamlet of Point Comfort, it was filmed primarily in New York State. Mm. I imagine the people who own the house. I mean, the what happened was it's called the Open Corner in Old Westbury Village of area of Long Island. All right, let's see if we can find it on Google Maps. I mean, I won't show this to you on. I won't share screen this with you, because probably the residents probably a little bit fed up, because I bet they have a lot of visitors. I bet they have a load of visitors. I bet they think, oh bloody hell! And just a disclaimer, guys, please don't go and knock on their door. Um, here we go. Old Westbury. That's where Mark comes from, doesn't he? Yeah, Old Westbury. It is on Long Island. It's not that close to the seaside. It's not that close to the seaside. Let's see if it's quite a big sort of designated area. The picture's not really. There are a couple of houses that could be it. It's a big place. I'm not going to search for it now. But of course, somebody will have found it, and maybe someone will go and knock on their door and say, "Can we come in and have a look around?" And I bet whoever lives there is probably fed up with it. What I'm guessing is that I imagine that the filmmaker would have said, if it depends how popular this house is, but it's likely to be, it's likely to be it's likely to be something that you've got to put up with if this film is very popular. You don't mind. It probably had to pay a lot of money for this. Oh no, it says here, after establishing shots in New York City, the Sanford family takes an unplanned vacation to a luxurious beach retreat on Long Island. The jaw-dropping home is a stunning property called the Open Corner, located in the historic Old Westbury Village area of Long Island. Designed by the New York architects Up Studio in 2019. It was quite a new house, just been built. The 5,200-foot square L-shaped house is designed to capture sunlight and maybe some extra radiation too. But listen to this. Listen to this. The studio worked closely with Netflix art directors to build a replica of the entire home's interior on the soundstage at Grumman Studios in Bethpage. Yeah, I imagine that would be the case. I mean, if you're going to in films, if you're going to make a proper movie, you don't often actually film. You often, like, if you set it in like a house somewhere, usually the interior shots are not done in the house. They'll set it up in a studio, but it is apparently a very, very accurate replica of the original, of the actual real place. Right, here we go. I'm just going to go for your comments now. Okay. 69 Phuket. I thought this was going to be about the emergency broadcast. Oh, right, because of the image I used on the notice. Yeah, but I did, but that's a big part of this film. Stuart says, "I'm going to watch the film. I hope you enjoy it." Leave the World Behind was similar to Revolution 2012, the TV series. Oh, I've not seen that. Hugo, does anyone want to visit? Oh, Hugo, someone will. Someone will. Claire, it looks like a bit of a downer. It was in a way. I mean, it's not as bad as, as apocalyptic movies go. It was actually fairly light-hearted. In fact, as I said, it's much lighter and less visceral than Blackout. I mean, Blackout, the premise in Blackout was there is a complete blackout that covers all of Britain for a week. Eventually, at the end, you see it's not really an apocalyptic thing, because at the end the lights all come back on again. Yeah. Well, I'll go through your Let me just go through your comments. Intruders get shot. What, in New York you're allowed to do that? Yeah. Oh, right. Claire says Zuckbot is having a bunker built. Yeah, I mean, we did. I discussed this in the review. In fact, according to that Vice documentary, little half-hour one, it's almost like a buzzword at Silicon Valley. If you say I'm buying a house in New Zealand, that's like a code for saying I'm having a luxury bunker built there. Yeah. So that's so obviously, like the exterior shots were filmed at this house, and of course that obviously there are going to be tourists going there, especially because maybe they didn't realize how successful this film was going to be and how popular. So the residents are going to have to deal with that. But I mean, it won't be forever. I mean, eventually, it's like Rennes-le-Château. I mean, when Holy Blood, Holy Grail came out, like this little place called Rennes-le-Château in France, this tiny little village, suddenly had to put up with 150,000 tourists a year. And then it all came back when Dan Brown brought out his book, but it's already dying down. Claire says, I've got a cupboard full of corned beef, sardines and dried peas. Well, that's enough to see out the apocalypse for me, I think. Yeah. But, yeah, those bunkers, I'll show you those bunkers. Luxury bunkers in doomsday bunkers of the elite. There's a lot of them buying them up. Elite doomsday bunkers. Now, you see, it is a bit disturbing, as that Vice documentary shows. And this is not While the Rest of Us Die. That's behind a paywall. But the actual half-hour New Zealand Vice one is actually free on YouTube. You can get it on YouTube. And it talks, and because a lot of these bunkers are in various remote areas of New Zealand, and the local people. He's like a journalist who's been doing some research. Claire, I've got a first edition hardback of Holy Blood, Holy Grail. Oh, right. That might be worth a bit of money, Claire. I know someone else who's got one as well, although she's not in chat right now, but she might join us. DJ Beauty. The long, dark region in France makes good wine. It bloody does, doesn't it? Yeah. But DJ's got one too. Probably not a first edition. No, I've got the 2000. I've got the 2005 edition. They brought out a new edition when Dan Brown brought out his book. I agree, David Schultz. To disarm the people is the best and most effective way to enslave them. George Mason, founding father. Quite so, quite so. And if Trevor was here, he'd have a lot to say about that. But he's not here this evening. That's not a problem. And some people don't turn up. That's okay. None of you owe me your attention. I've got 29 viewers, and I'm grateful for those. But if I don't have more, it's not your fault. It's up to me to produce a video good enough that people will want to watch it. Let's have a look at some of these images for the Doomsday Bunkers. I showed you these during the review, but look at this. See, you can live out the apocalypse in the manner to which you're accustomed. You don't have to sit in a wooden box and eat sardines. You can watch movies in this private cinema. Look, and that's your bed with a giant aquarium. I think that's probably a screen there, but you can have like a wall screen because you're underground. You're going to need a kind of I suppose you will need a you won't get any sunlight. Some of them have observation decks on the top, which you can go up when it gets peaceful. But a lot of them don't. So you've got a wine cellar, nice. So you can always have plenty of wine. Is this Doomsday Escape Plan? Yeah, this is. If you see them doing this, I mean that film. I mean, this sound reminds me of the Doomsday Escape. If you see very very rich people, what? Create an account and unblock one. No, bugger off. I'm not doing that. You can see the image there. Look, they just see this is in San Francisco, and they get on a 10-hour direct flight to New Zealand, and this is the posh jet, the Gulfstream. Oh, I see this. Oh, I can open. No, I'm not. Oh no, I'm not doing that. Okay, I'm not signing up for any accounts. That's the doors of one of them. See, while the rest of us die. This is this documentary. Oh, it is a YouTube thing, right? This ad drives me nuts. Look, this is just. Is this advert? I'm going to play this advert because it's quite funny. I think those guys are more interested in each other than they are in women. Okay, here's a. I won't show you this because I'll get. It's just a copyright issue. You can see there the super rich secret doomsday bunkers, and this is just like a This is just like a clip, I think. Some of the richest people in Silicon Valley are building bunkers, preparing for a breakdown of civilization that they caused. What? Ooh, interesting. They say that they caused. I mean, you see, I brought this up in my review of. I did a review of Stephen Molyneux's book, The Present, which is an apocalyptic novel. And I mentioned this on what was the video I mentioned this on? Oh, it was the Weird Weekend North. I mentioned this, didn't I? If there is an apocalypse, what caused it? What's the cause? What would be the cause? Let me just find my notes here. Molyneux, right. The Present, right. This is my review of the book. You can actually get the book for free, but this is my review here of it. There, there's a reason why I've chosen that picture, which I explain in the article. But he says, "What will be the cause?" Yeah, Stefan doesn't believe in the Illuminati or anything. His vision of the collapse is caused simply by the sickness of society eventually overloading it. I personally believe there are three possible causes for the collapse. Firstly, the ultimate fall of the Illuminati, leading to what I call the transitional period, which, as I've said, could be a very turbulent time indeed, which I describe obviously in Roswell Revealed. The second cause is a deliberate demolition of civilization, out of whose ashes the Loomies plan to build their new world order, or they just want to obliterate the world in a spiteful, scorched earth policy in response to their own defeat. Obviously, I hope that one never happens. The third is my own model, closest to Stefan's, the socio-political economic engineering of the Illuminati, leading to an unintentional collapse. Should that happen, we will have some hope left, because it really is very similar to the first scenario. Yeah. But anyway, anyone? Well, we don't. Well, let's go for your comments here. Hmm. See how we're living. Use it as a grow room while waiting for Armageddon. That's what Hugo does. Yeah. Hi, Lights. Hey, Lights below. How you doing, mate? Weren't you here earlier? No, no, no. It's nothing as it seems. Sorry, I shouldn't get you two mixed up. Hello, West Londoner. Welcome, Claire. The apocalypse is the unveiling of the truth, which is happening daily. Yes, the word apocalypse does mean that. It means unveiling, exposure, revelation. Yes, it does. And indeed, I cover that. You've probably seen my apocalypse talk. Oh, by the way, I was going to make a special video about this, and in the end, I thought there's not much point. It's been banned from YouTube. My apocalypse soon video has been banned from bloody. The fuckers have deleted it. I'll show you. This is really annoying. This is, here we are. Look, look, bastards. Look at this YouTube. I've got I should change this link actually there because look. Oh, hang on. Oh no, I can. Oh right, okay. No, the reason I can see it is okay. The reason I can see it is because I'm logged in. But let me just go. Let me just open up another browser. Let me open up this browser here, and I'll show you what I mean. I'll show what I mean. Anyway, while I'm waiting for that, I'll just do that in case. I just don't want. Just in case something embarrassing appears. I'll just go off screen share for the moment. Hmm. Yeah, alcohol. That's cannabis. That's correct. Correct. I know that's true. Hugo. Anyone who doesn't believe in conspiracies existing is naive. Sad to say that about Molly, but I guess so. Yeah, I mean, true, Claire. I mean, Molly, as you know, because I review so much of his stuff. He sort of like he goes from real pearls of wisdom and intelligence to talking total crap. He really does. Here we go. Right. So now we'll go back to. We'll now open up a browser which I'm not logged in. Right. Nothing embarrassing on there. Right. Okay. Good. Here we go. Right. Now look at this. So here we are. Apocalypse soon. Panamo TV. Right. Okay. I'm not logged in on this browser. So what happens when I click the YouTube link? It hourglasses desperately. Hmm. What's happening? Oh, it's video unavailable. The video contains contents from Studio Canal, who has blocked it on copyright grounds. Yeah, it's blocked in all territories. That's what it says. I've got a notice saying blocked in all territories. What has my camera packed up finally? That's oops. All right, I'm back. Why it says that I don't know if I paused there for a moment, but just in case something my live stream broke down. It said basically it's been blocked in all territories. It hasn't been deleted. I can still watch it when I'm logged in, but no one else can watch it apart from me, which is pretty useless, really, then, isn't it? So it's blocked in all territories. Why? As you say, content from Studio Canal. That content from Studio Canal it's simply those scenes from the Second Coming. That's really good. It was actually a very, very good um, supernatural thriller by Russell T Davies. This is before Russell T Davies took a pickaxe to Doctor Who. It's got Christopher Eccleston, who of course is one of the doctors, and yeah, the whole thing was just I've paused it. I've frozen again. There we go. And yeah, in all territories, nothing as it seems. But the thing about it is, if you go and just Google the Second Coming on YouTube, you find clips of it everywhere. Firstly, the entire thing is on YouTube. The entire thing is a freebie on YouTube. You can just watch it. Secondly, other people have uploaded clips to it. So I thought, what's wrong with me doing it? What's wrong with me doing it? They blocked everywhere. And it's a very obvious case of fair use. Very, very obvious case of fair use. Totally. And they blocked. Obviously, the good news is it's on all the alt tech platforms. So Sodom, if it's not good enough for YouTube, then YouTube ain't good enough for it. So go to BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble. It's all there. Yeah, just like Meadows, as you know, if you watch Meadows, you know part one of Meadows is much shorter on YouTube. It's about 13 minutes cut off it. The reason is because I had to trim it. If you go to the old tech versions of Meadows Part One, you can see the whole thing, including the bits that were missing. Klaus wants his Stortreich, yes, yes. Hugo grows his own still, yeah. Right, yes. Draw it. Nothing says. Draw it back onto into your shoulder and lean into her. That's enough about Clay and Amanda and what Clay would do if I would do if I was Clay. Yes, so she would be zombie fodder for certain, definitely. Um, David Schultz. Speaking of bunkers, Zuckerberg made $100 billion home with a bunker in Hawaii. He did. I just saw a news story about Zuckerberg's bunker. Well, I'll tell you what, all you can hope for is because, of course, these bunkers are designed to cope with all kinds of different apocalypses. Some of them will be as a result of warfare or man made apocalypses as a result of societal collapse. Others might be natural disasters. And, of course, the biggest and most powerful volcano on the planet is the one on Hawaii. So all we can hope for, I mean, can I say this? Is it right to say this? But all we can hope for is that when he gets into his bunker, that is the one we get. Hmm. Oh yeah. Claire says I was a big fan of Molly a few years ago, but he's moved on to other stuff more recently. Well, he doesn't talk about politics so much, and I understand his position. I do because, as he said, until politics becomes more interesting, there's no point. Hmm. DJ B2, the EU are very anti-free speech recently. Just recently? Hmm. Nothing that seems blocked in New Zealand. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these. I wonder if you go to New Zealand, if that thing by that New Zealand journalist is actually blocked in New Zealand. Hmm. Well, New Zealand though is. Oh right, are you talking about my videos? Yeah, because my New Zealand has become a right police state. It really has. Hmm. Hugo says, "Come for a chat, Ben. I wish to challenge the system cameras. I'd love to meet you, someday, Hugo. And I know you can't travel. I mean, to be honest, it's like I have a. I don't know. What's that? It's Alan. What's he doing? He bumps around so much. I wish he'd start playing the piano again. Um, I've got a bit of a. It's a painful. I've got painful memories associated with the region where you live, Hugo. It's to do with my ex-partner Sue Stone. I still. It's. I'm still. I think I'm still hurting. From our breakup, which is awful because it's almost 8 years ago. I've been split up from her now almost as long as we were together. I've got to get over it at some point. DJ BG Ben, you are not one of the brain parasite hosts. Yeah, exactly. That's why they don't like me. Yes. Oh, Hugo, I'd love to, but it's just, Jam knows you'll come and see you. Oh, right. That rear view is what I see on the M60 when I'm late for work, says Phuket. Oh, right. So the propagandists are dropping disinformation on you to get you to get you on your way. Yeah, Claire, I'm seeing this is supposed to be predictive programming from Obama. It may well be something to do. Maybe it's like I say, it's something that's called like predicting the future, but like Kubrick used to. With look at look at 2001. I mean, it's been so accurate, hasn't it? Honestly, I honestly think the fact that they're doing this sort of thing, the fact that the elite are buying up, they're building all these bunkers, does make you wonder what they've got planned. What about the Epstein list? I'm sure they'll all be in their bunkers, won't they? Yeah. I mean, of course, I'll never get into one of these bunkers, but then that's a good sign. I mean, that at least then I can say, well, at least I can, I suppose, rest. I can like lie down and think, well, at least I lived a good life. At least I didn't compromise myself on a moral level. I know that's a pretty irrelevant point to most people these days, but it does to me. It does matter to me. Is Red Cap Goblin here? Hello, Red Cap. How you doing? Nice to see you. Where's Old Zealand? All right. I think it refers to the part of Denmark where I was actually, where Copenhagen is. I think that's Zealand. David Schultz. Yeah. Oh hell. David Schultz says Another powerful supervolcano is in Yellowstone in Wyoming, USA, and it's overdue and smoking. Yeah, it actually erupted about 600,000 years ago, and there's a layer of ash. There was a layer of ash a foot deep as far away as Ohio. If that erupted again, the death roll would be terrible. I mean, you'd see cities like maybe where I was in Las Vegas, that would be s- swamped by a massive cloud of volcanic ash, which could kill people. I mean, the latest. I mean, in fact, a lot of the doomsday bunkers they're adding volcanic ash filters to their air input system. So this is one of the things they're planning for would be a Yellowstone eruption. Yeah, because that would be terrible. Certainly for people in North America, it would affect the whole world. Though you'd end up with an ice age for 20 years. Yeah. Oh, La Palma. Now La Palma's another one. If that happened, like if it slipped into the sea, you'd have a mega tsunami which would devastate places like New York City, Miami, all the way up the eastern seaboard. You're talking about like a something 20 times the height of the Asian tsunami. You'd have to be about 10 miles inland to survive that. So these cities these cities would be obliterated. Yeah. Anyway, guys, what other things can we talk about? Anything else you can come up with? Because I obviously like it's. Oh yeah, Pan Am. There was a Pan Am. Yeah, there was like a space plane that's in the opening scene with the one after the monkeys. Someone mentioned something about that. Who mentioned stuff about the flag on the moon? Somebody did somewhere on a comment somewhere. I mean, I'll answer it on the. Oh, actually, I'll go through the comments on the. I shall go through the comments on the review video. I mean, I'll do it again when we get to. I'll do it again when we get to the comments reply video. But I thought I'd go through the comments. Right, see what people have written. For example, The Road, the book. Okay. Some of these are quite long. Is Gary in chat? I won't do this unless Gary is actually in chat. Is Gary Robinson in chat? Hugo Roon says, nice one, Ben. This contact times, Insure Tech, Rolling Fort. I don't think Gary's there. Oh, I won't do it if Gary's not there. We'll wait for the comments reply video. Tim Refat was all on about the La Palma thing. Yeah, he was talking about he was talking about he was on Miles' channel. But Claire, I remember Pan Am and the Pan Am thing, right? I mean, did they pay for that? Is that like is like free advertising? Because I always remember that they had this like slogan, wasn't it? It was on one of the posters. Pan Am, the sky is no longer the limit. And I thought that's just typical of what a corporation would come up with. Oh, you're welcome, Hugo. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoy it. See how we're living. Civil War 24? Well, you never know. I mean, they seem determined to just today it's broken out that Colorado has blocked Trump's campaign, his election campaign. Now, this doesn't mean it's all over for him. There are things they can do. If it was advertising, it didn't work, says Claire. No. And of course, Lockerbie, yeah, that was a terrible thing. What happened there? Like it's like Malaysia. But what's going to happen with Trump now? You see, this is the sort of thing that can lead to a coup d'état. In Colorado, the court there, the Supreme Court has just ruled against Trump's. They've refused to allow Trump to run as a candidate for presidency, because of course they have to ratify the federal office, and they've refused to. Now, Styx Hexenham has done a couple of videos where he explains how this is going to backfire. I don't have time to talk about this in detail. It's another subject, but maybe we'll cover that in the new year when the election campaign gets really going. And see how we live in says Tesla. Yes, Tesla's product placement. So I wonder, actually, maybe in the case of Tesla, there is such a thing as bad publicity. And I wonder what Elon actually thought of that, whether he actually gave the filmmakers permission to portray his products in the way they did. Because he portrayed them. What we see of the Tesla cars is they are completely autonomous, no human override, like the planes and ships. and they just go off on their own somewhere down the same road and end up crashing into each other. I mean, would you want to drive that car? Would you go in a showroom and they say, "Would you like one of these?" And they say, "Oh, I think I saw that on a film." So if I just leave it parked somewhere, it might drive off and then go down a little road with all the others and crash. Oh, I think I'll have that Ford Capri over there, thanks. No, it wasn't kind at all. Yeah, I mean, I do. You see, you can actually have those autonomous cars. You just don't mention the name of the product. That's all you have to do is just don't mention the product's name, and then you're off the hook. DJ, maybe Elon is changing his focus. Well, he's come under a lot of pressure, obviously, since he took over Twitter. I refuse to call it X. Since he took over Twitter, they brought that Yakarino woman in, who's a right woke scold. She's like Ruth. She reminds me of Ruth, the things she says. But it does. I mean, there is there's a satirical element to the film, which is related, I think, to. I think it's related to the whole. We rely too much on technology thing, or too much technology is harming our relationships. Because, like in the second scene, they're driving off on their holiday after Amanda has sort of like just has announced that she's booked this cottage, and that Clay says, "Oh yeah, all right, yeah, maybe it's not such a bad idea." And what they do, they're sitting in the car. I mean, you can see them. They're sitting in the car. Sam is driving. Sorry. Clay is driving, and he's listening to the radio. Amanda is rabbiting on the phone to one of her girlfriends, as they say in America, one of her mates. Archie's in the back seat just playing a computer game, and Rose, of course, is watching Friends on her iPad, which of course then breaks down, so she can't watch the end. She can't watch it until she gets the DVD. And as I said in the review, like if you really love a movie and you really think it's good, get the bloody DVD of it. Don't rely on online streaming services like Rose did. Get your own copy. It's like if you love a book, get the paperback. My own titles are never going to be on Kindle. They are paperbacks only. That's what you do. And so get the paperback. And also another reason to get the paperback is like that I didn't mention this. I've not mentioned this on the channel, but I mentioned this on the Panmo Voice. They're editing the Roald Dahl books for political correctness. They're doing this to several authors now, older authors. They've already done it. They've got out a new edition of Mark Twain's books, which is because apparently Huckleberry Finn has 5 times there's a nasty word for black people is mentioned in it, and so they've edited that out. How many points do you give the film out of 10? Says Diego Rivera. 5 going on 6, I'd say. Yeah, about the same as Silent Night, Cosmic Claire. Oxfam Books, yeah, they do. Any charity shops are great in that thing. Yeah, Phuket, yeah. Where is it? Enid Blyton, yeah. Oh my God! Even when I was like a kid at school, there were calls to remove those from the libraries. Sorenable, hey Sorenable from Ireland, how you doing? Does Roswell Rising have sex in it? Diego, you'll have to read it to find out. No, I'm joking. Look, I don't actually. You see, I don't see why any author should feel pressured into putting very certain content in their book they don't want to. And there's actually all right. There is no explicit sex. There's references to sexual activity in the book. Indeed, one of the characters gets pregnant. In fact, 2 of the characters get pregnant, but there's nothing explicit, and I don't see why there should be. I don't want to do that. There is in Rockall. I put something in Rockall, but I didn't feel comfortable doing it. I knew it was necessary because of the scene needed it, but I didn't like it. I didn't like doing it. Right. Anyway, any more comments or questions? I'd give it 5 to 6 out of 10. Yeah. You know what? Like I said, I'm going to do a live stream probably Christmas Eve. We'll talk about Silent Night. Have you all rewatch Silent Night because it's worth watching it again. Because as I mentioned this before, but during the death scene, I noticed something new that I hadn't spotted before. It's to do with the death scene, and not the one where Art wakes up. It's Sophie. It's Sophie and James. Something strange about Sophie and James. DJ B2. Well, that's a concern. The brain chip stuff, Elon. Anyway, guys, I feel like this stream is running out of energy. So unless you have any more comments or questions related to specifically to the topic, fuck it. What is it on YouTube? Is what? You mean Left Behind? They Leave the World Behind? No, it's on Netflix, but it has actually proliferated into a few other places. But you not officially, and it probably won't last long where it's gone. Hugo, oh thanks, Hugo. Looking forward to my next one. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll probably on Christmas Eve we'll do a thing about Silent Night. Yeah, David, Splendid Isolation. Oh, you turn up to. I'm just about to call it a night, but yeah. Sorrowable, I think I'm. You're not. Oh, you're not stupid. You're cool. You've been watching me for ages, so you can't possibly be stupid. If you were, you'd have just said, "Oh, this bloke's an idiot," and you'd have switched off. But yeah, we'll probably just as I said, watch. If you haven't watched Silent Night, please do watch it. If you've watched it before, watch it again. Oh, this is interesting. Claire's brought something up. Friends star David Schwimmer is talking about fearing for his life after Matthew Perry died suspiciously. Yeah, when did Matthew Perry die? Because it was only a couple of months ago, right? Matthew Perry, American Canadian actor. He was quite young, I think. Let's have a look. Matthew Perry. Just going to Wikipedia. Death. 28th of October. Found unresponsive. 54 years old. Right. When was Leave the World Behind released? 2023. Let's have a look. Had its world premiere May the 12th. Released on Netflix December the 8th. Right. So 28th. So it's only about 5 or 6 weeks between one and the other. But of course, by that time, the whole Friends element it was already known about, wasn't it? It was already in now. Obviously, the film had been wrapped. It had been premiered. Oh, Claire's posted. Claire's posted a URL, which I think is, which may be that one. You can look it up yourself. See How We Are Living has mentioned. What do I call this film on YouTube? Expired Without Warning. Yes, yes, expired without warning. Put your Christmas sweater on. I can't listen to that song now without thinking about Silent Night. I first heard that song on Silent Night. Anyway, guys, I think we've sort of like, if you can think of anything else to say about Leave the World Behind, please do put it in the comments section of this video or the review video. And on the next comments reply video, which I'll do just after Christmas, I will address it. But I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's taken part in this live stream. See How We Are Living. And Hugo Roon, who's a 66 and a cannabis user, and he fit the crippled sad life. Oh well, so Hugo, I hope my channel has made your life a little bit better. Spaceman is here. Welcome, Spaceman. DJ B2. Thank you very much for watching. 69 Phuket. Rhiannon's up there somewhere. David Splendid Isolation. Who else? Sorrenable. I feel guilty if I leave people out. Cosmic Claire. Israel Diego Rivera. Yeah. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's watched, including the people who are watching live and have taken part in this particular chat box. David Schultz. Oh dear. West Londoner. And yeah, and anyone else I've left out. If I've left anyone else out, I'm very sorry. But David, don't worry about it, mate. You've just love you too, Hugo. Glad you caught it too, Claire. See you. Take it easy. Enjoy it, David Schultz. Bye-bye, West Londoner. David, I hope you like watching the recording. As I said, David, if you think of anything to say, please do put it in the comments box. And I will reply in the next comments reply video. Claire, give it a like. Thank you, Claire. All right, guys. Much appreciated. Keep an eye out on the channel. There will be at least, probably my next video will be, I might take a few days off. I'm not doing, by the way, I'm not doing a Hapanmo show tomorrow, but I will do definitely Christmas Eve. There's going to be a live stream. I want to try some live streams on Alt Tech as well. Maybe I'll do those because I'm on my own Christmas. See, I'm all alone for Christmas, and so I'll do some live streams. Yeah, I'll do live streams. I will not be alone for Christmas if I'm doing a live stream, will I? No. And we'll talk about Silent Night. Do watch Silent Night again, though, because, like I said, I watched it again and I spotted something completely new, which is very interesting. So, good night to everyone. Good night to everyone in the chat box. And I assume I will interact with you before, but if not, have a very, very happy Christmas, all of you, and a splendid New Year. Although I'll do another video after Christmas for New Year. But yeah, Christmas Eve live, West Londoner. I will post a notice to confirm, but hope to do a live Christmas Eve live stream at some point. Yeah. All the best, everyone. Hospital porters, pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order.